It has been about a month since the Luka Doncic trade shook up the NBA, and I just want to recap everything from what I've seen because every day it seems like the trade gets worse and worse. So leave a like and subscribe. We're just gonna recap everything. You might learn a thing or two if you're not too tapped into what's going on, but I made a little slideshow for you guys. So let's rewind a year ago. They had probably their greatest season since they won their championship in 2011. Luka was a top MVP candidate. I believe he was top two, definitely top three. He finally beats the Clippers, who have beat them the last two times they were in the playoffs in the first round. They make the Western Conference Finals while starting one of the better rivalries in the league. I feel like Mavericks versus OKC were very fun games to watch. It was clear those teams hated each other. That playoff series was a lot of fun to watch as a casual fan. Well, not casual, but neutral fan. And they would gentleman sweep the Minnesota Timberwolves to get to the finals, who many were claiming were one of the greatest defensive units ever. Luka and Kyrie were both going crazy that series, and that kind of shut down the talks of greatest defense ever for that team. They lose due to one, the Celtics being way better all across the board, and Luka was very clearly hobbled, which made him way worse at defense than what he should have been. And yeah, that was one of the big reasons they lost. But a bigger reason is that no one other than Luka was a reliable option to score. Kyrie had some stinkers in relatively close games, but whatever. You just didn't have enough firepower to compete with the Celtics, who were a crazy good team that year. As you can see, they obviously made the finals, and why would you blow that up? They had a great offseason. They only lost Derrick Jones Jr., and they were able to not bring back, but add Klay Thompson and Najee Marshall. They needed more three-point shooting, so yeah, they got Klay. And Najee Marshall, a great wing. They brought back everyone that was important, so just run it back. I would have gave them an A+. Actually, I don't know what I gave them because I don't watch my videos. But looking back, probably A+. Then injuries started to happen. I didn't include it in the slideshow, but they had a pretty good start to the year. I believe they were tied for the first seed at one point, or at least like one of the higher seeds. But that injury started to pile on. They lose Derek Lively, Kyrie, Luka, Marshall, and Kleber for parts of the year. Luka himself was dealing with the most serious injury we've seen from him in his career so far. I don't remember. I believe the Gafford one came after the Luka trade, but then February 1st happened. The Dallas Mavericks were dead. Their time of death, 9:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shams shocked the world. He later had to clarify that this trade is real because everyone was assuming he was hacked, because why would you trade Luka Doncic? And I remember specifically, I was playing a video game with my friends until one of my other friends hopped in call and said, "Hey, did Luka really get traded?" So then we all looked at our phones and we realized, yes, he did get traded to the Lakers. Their great haul, they got Anthony Davis, who was injured at the time, Max Christie, a good young player, I guess, and one first round pick in 2029, when the Lakers are probably going to be in contention because they have Luka Doncic on their team. Yeah, not a good haul at all. There would later be reports from other GMs saying it was not fair because they feel like they could have made a better offer than what the Lakers gave. And I agree. I think pretty much there's a lot of teams that could have made way better offers, especially if you're trading a player like Luka Doncic. When you're trading your star player, you are going to want to try to get a lot of young talent and capital. That's usually the best way to go because if you're trying to contend, that means you have been building around this guy for the past few years. So if that guy goes away, then what are we really doing here? Why are we bothering? Am I throwing shots at my own favorite team? Maybe. But that's besides the point. It still applies here. Lots of other teams could have given better deals. You probably could have called up the Celtics and asked for Jason Tatum. They would have entertained it. I know there is a report that they asked for Anthony Edwards, and the Timberwolves said no. I believe Ant is at that level just because he's so young that you do hesitate. But most players, you pretty much just you pull the trigger and trade them, unless you're Nikola Jokic, Giannis, because he's already won and means so much to that franchise, and Victor Wembanyama. Everyone else, you'll hear them out. So, yeah, you could have got a lot more than Anthony Davis. So, you might be wondering, in case you haven't been paying attention to the Mavericks, are they still competing? No, they are not competing. They lost AD in his first game back because they pretty much rushed him because the fan outrage was getting so bad. So they thought, hey, let's show you our new shiny toy that we got. Maybe you guys will calm down. But they overplayed him in a game they didn't have to overplay him. And now he's potentially out for the year. They lost Kyrie to an ACL tear last night. And this is because he's had to play like 40 minutes a game every night for the past few months. He's been picking up a lot of the slack. And it just sucks. This was probably his best regular season since I would say his first year with the Celtics, because that was the last time he had to really step up and be that guy. But this was one of his better regular seasons. And they also lost Daniel Gafford. They lost Kyrie and Gafford both against the Sacramento Kings, so I was watching live. And it just felt really sad. I feel so bad for the Mavericks players and their fans. But not a good move to rush AD back and force Kyrie to do this much. So, how do the fans feel? They have not been very happy about this. As you can see here, people are wishing bad things to happen to Nico Harrison. Everyone misses Luka. My franchise has never had a player nearly as good as Luka. We could have drafted him, but Kangs. And I cannot fathom how that would feel. I was heartbroken over De'Aaron Fox leaving, who's probably at very best, like your highest on him, top 15 player in the league. But Luka is one of the best players in the league, and he has done so much for that franchise. I cannot imagine what that would feel like. And at least when the Kings lost Fox, it was like you could see the tides were turning, that it was going to happen. This one, it came out of nowhere because Nico Harrison did not want anyone to know. Apparently, people within the Mavericks organization, they knew Nico did not like Luka, so it was just a matter of when they would trade him. I imagine them making the finals made it difficult to trade Luka. I feel like if they didn't make the finals, they would have just traded him last summer. But he did the deal with his buddy Rob Pelinka. They saved the Lakers again because they were doomed without LeBron when LeBron retires. Now all of a sudden LeBron looks rejuvenated and he's ready to play like 4 more years. And it sucks. It really must suck because this all happened due to one guy's ego trip. There was a report saying he didn't want the Mavericks to revolve around Planet Luka or revolve around Luka. I don't know if most GMs know this, but this is a star-driven league. It has been so for a while now. Like, who do you think? What do you think the Thunder revolve around? They revolve around SGA. What do you think the Nuggets revolve around? They revolve around Jokic. If these GMs don't understand that, they don't deserve a job, okay? Because you can win with any GM as long as they make correct moves. You cannot win without your superstar, though. The worst player to win a championship in the last 10 years as probably that team's best player is probably Jason Tatum. And that's just because the help around him was they saw what he needed to help get the job done. So they basically built a super team. But you're supposed to build around your star. And if you don't understand that, you don't deserve a job. So do they really care? No. If you go to a Mavericks game, it's like 1984 over there, basically. So let's see what they've done. They have raised the ticket prices by 8% for next year. Keep in mind, they're still going to do this. Kyrie is probably not going to play most of next year. So you're going to pay more when this year you thought you were watching Luka and Kyrie cook. Next year, you are expecting to watch Anthony Davis and friends. That's basically it. In a tough Western Conference, might I add. Anthony Davis, phenomenal player, but he's getting old, and he's a big man who deals with injuries. So I'll let you do the math on how that probably goes. They've been calling Luka fat like every other day. Every time I wake up and check my phone, there's a new report from Dunk Central about how the Mavericks think that Luka's fat. The Mavericks owner even said that he didn't have a hard enough work ethic. Like if you look at Kobe, if you look at Michael Jordan, if you look at Shaquille O'Neal, they all had hard work ethics. I'm not even gonna give that statement any more thought because you should already know what's wrong with that statement. They've been kicking fans out who try and voice their opinion. And they even censored Luka from a hype video. The Mavericks didn't even apologize for censoring Luka in the video. The rapper who made the rap video for the Mavericks, or not video, the rap song for the video, he had to apologize. And Mark Cuban was caught telling fans to shut up and sit down when they were complaining about Luka. As you can see, this is Luka Doncic. They blacked him out and they put the Mavericks logo on it. They did this across the whole video, basically. And fans getting kicked out for fire and eco signs. Not a good look at all. Now, why are they doing this? They want gambling in the arena. Woohoo! Don't you guys love gambling? It's so fun. So they are using this to try to make gambling legalized in Texas. And then they want a new arena so that they could make it a half casino. Now, why do they want to do this? I don't really know. I don't really know. Me personally, because I like basketball, I would focus on making the basketball better. So there is another theory that they are trying to make their relationship with the fans so bad that they are forced to relocate, and they're gonna choose Las Vegas so that they could do their gambling over there. Can teams stop trying to move to Las Vegas? Like, have you seen the other sports in Las Vegas? The fans don't care. Like, I don't know. You had a good city. Why would you move? They had like the longest streak of sellouts. It's just insane. So, what's next? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, chat? Mavs fans, you are allowed to leave and pick a new team with no shame. This is probably the first time in history it has happened that you could just leave with no shame at all. I have seen people of poverty franchises try and say that they don't feel bad for the Mavericks because look how bad their team is. I'm sorry to tell you that this is worse than anything that has happened to any other team. The jump from high to low has never been greater. The Hornets sucking for like 20 years is not comparable to this. I'm sorry. The Kings sucking for 20 years is also not this. Because you guys never had hope. And it was clear that management was just doing a bad job. This feels like on purpose they're doing a bad job. I've seen Kings fans try and say like these Mavericks fans wouldn't last a day as a Kings fan. I want you to imagine that instead of let's say the Kings still had De'Aaron Fox, okay? And this is for Kings fans, by the way. The Hornets, this could be, let's say you had LaMelo Ball. And you're feeling good still because you're like, whatever. The team is probably going to win a championship. Let's say in this hypothetical, your team is competing for a championship. And then out of nowhere, you trade him for not Anthony Davis. I feel like that's too big of a talent jump. We need something relative. So for LaMelo and Fox, I guess you could say, what if they just traded him for like Bradley Beal? Okay, maybe that's a little bit too disrespectful to AD. But you get the point. You trade him for an older and worse player. Out of nowhere. You didn't hear about it at all. And he's going to a big market. Obviously. That's gonna hurt. So, I feel like any fan can have some empathy for the Mavericks fans. You guys can leave with no shame. Anyone telling you any different, they are idiots and don't know how to picture themselves in that situation. So, you could try to bring back Kyrie and try again next year. You go after Durant this summer. That's probably your last hope, really. What I would do is I'd probably blow it up. I'd ask for some draft capital for Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving and PJ Washington and Najee Marshall. Pretty much any piece besides maybe like Derek Lively. Because you can get a lot for a lot of your pieces. That's just what I would do. Because after 2027, you have no guaranteed first rounders until 2031. everything's either a pick swap or in 2028 or 2027 they have a top 2 protected pick in the first round or something. So yeah. Last thing, fire Nico Harrison. Apparently it was talked about they did not want to give him the max extension, which I understand, but Luka probably would have taken a pay cut as long as it means he gets to try to win. And there were no indications he wouldn't re-sign with the Mavericks. So you're basically, this guy just grabbed a gun and shot himself in the foot for no reason. And oh yeah, he keeps talking about Kobe Bryant. He was saying stuff when Kyrie shot those free throws on a torn ACL. Brought up Kobe. You know your team had a legend too. He was just as hardworking. His name is Dirk Nowitzki. And you have not brought him up once. I think that... Oh my god. Yeah, this guy needs to lose his job. It's malpractice, what he has done. And everyone knew it was a bad idea. Anyone thinking that this had a chance at being a good idea is probably an old head who overvalues defense and doesn't know basketball. I know the one person I talked to said that this was a good trade for the Mavericks, and let's just say we disagree on a lot of things in basketball. But Jesus, this was such a bad deal. I'm so sorry, Mavericks fans. They obviously don't care about you. Maybe if they get Cooper flagged, then yeah, this whole deal was probably orchestrated. But I feel like people who think that this was rigged for the Lakers, I don't think it was rigged for the Lakers. I don't think the NBA sought out Luka going to the Lakers. They already accepted he's going to be like Dirk. But when it happened, they're not going to veto it because it's Luka on the Lakers. And it's one guy's ego trip, basically. So, I don't know. If this happened in fantasy basketball, I would have vetoed it. But this is the NBA. And Adam Silver is a bad commissioner. This is a insane situation. It keeps developing. And, oh yeah, the Lakers look really good right now. They actually look like championship contenders. So take of that what you will. But that's basically a recap. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys like and subscribe. I'll try to make more content like this, and I'll see you all next time.